how to be craved by the type of feminine, radiating woman you desire. Every man asks at some point, how the hell do I actually become attractive as a masculine man? And the answer you hear thrown around like cheap candy is, just be yourself. Sounds profound, right? But it's like telling a man drowning in quicksand, just swim. Yeah, thank you for the TED Talk, Socrates. It's useless as hell. And most men choke on that advice because nobody ever explained which self to actually be. So you hustle and you polish this so-called best version, flirting hacks, gym gains, even the no-fap hype. And yet, none of it makes the big difference. Why? Because we know attraction isn't built on surface level tricks. Oh, thank you. Tell me something new. Okay, it comes from a force inside of you that most men never touch because they were told by the softener society to starve it. Let's shine some unapologetic light on why desire dies the second you follow softener society script and how to flip that switch back on. Yeah, I might catch some heat for this, but screw it. Someone's gotta say it. And most men are grinding on the wrong level of self, polishing the safe version everyone applauds, while the raw version women actually crave sits chained in the basement. So let's go to the 6 steps to masculine attraction. 1, the just be yourself scam. 2, the doomed goodbye. 3, attraction's real engine. 4, the law of masculine attraction, energy over effort. 5, handling the raw power of your true self. And 6, the enlightened bad boy. Be yourself is BS, because there are minimum 2 selves of you. The first self is the one that softener society builds for you. The neutered puppy self, polite, trained, waggling his tail and rolling over on command. And then there's the origin, the wolf, raw, present, the real self that was there before you got domesticated. Society loves the puppy. We live in a culture that worships nice guys. A woke classroom and society loves the puppy. We live in a culture that worships nice guys. A woke classroom of politeness training where the message is, be harmless, be soft, be agreeable, and for God's sake, don't scare anyone with your edge. And sure, it works. Great for paying taxes, standing in a line, and keeping the matrix working. But does it work for attraction? Let's be real. It's like sharpening your sword with bubble wrap and wondering why it don't cut. The puppy version. What it does, it seeks approval seeking, kills polarity. And voila! We become the guy that does everything right and gets nothing in return. A fireless fighter, a wet box of wet wipes when she's craving a bonfire. She wants someone hot, not someone to wipe her. But you see, we have a choice. The second option is to be who you actually are. All of you, the full orchestra, not just the timid flute. Instinct, intellect, emotion, spirit, and yes, even the parts labeled as too dark. And you can see it. Right now, most men are driving like a Ferrari in first gear because society told them that the second gear is dangerous. Lots of potential horsepower, but still crawling like a golf cart. And every man is light and dark. Every instinct has a shadow. Suppress one half, and you don't become safe. You become boring and weak, and boring is the death of attraction. And this is where polarity lives. Masculine and feminine are not the same. They're built as opposites. Where you carry presence, she flows. Where you bring grounded dominance, she surrenders. And that's why the entire shelves of erotic novels are stacked with women's stories of surrender and being claimed. And let's be honest here, Nobody's binging 50 Shades of doing the dishes. And women don't run to bookstores for the tale of Mr. Reliable files the taxes. They cure up for Mr. Dangerous. Because it's polarity that ignites attraction. It's not philosophy. It's not physics. It's plug and socket. No charge, bzz, no spark. And yet, softener society told her to hide that desire. And it told you to kill your edge. So couples meet in the middle, both half dead, and wonder why there's no fire. But these dynamics, the fire, it shows up in every bestseller on the erotic shelf. Hundreds of millions of books yearly. Polarity is not a theory. It's what fuels feminine desire. You can embody both, brother. Security and adventure. Love and danger. Both must exist or one suffocates the other. And here's the reality. You were created to be her polar opposite. And most women, they are actually really not turned on by the nice guy. They've been conditioned to suppress the part of themselves that craves danger, dominance, surrender. Society tells her, don't touch that. So she shuts it down, together with her femininity and her desire. But energy doesn't lie, it waits. And at the moment you open your own dark side without judgment, she feels like a mirror. If you carry your darkness with presence, she suddenly gets the permission to feel her own. And that's the door into tension, desire, and the sensuality she can't put down. That's how simple it is. A mirror doesn't smile back when you're frowning into it. Change your energy and her reflection changes. So let's get to the real question, brother. What woman do you actually want? The shut-down masculinized partner society is breeding, or the woman who drops, melts, and comes alive, radiating in her femininity? So let's get to the real question, brother. What type of woman do you actually want? The shut-down masculinized partner society is breeding, or the woman who opens, melts, and comes alive, radiating in her femininity because your presence gives her something to rise into. And here's the thing, she wants that too. She feels the desire even when she can't name it. I've had women whisper, how do I ask my husband to learn this without hurting him? That's how deep the hunger runs. And she feels the absence just as strongly. Even if she never tasted her full desire, even if past unconscious men left scars, the imprint is there. She knows deep inside intimacy should be more than polite routines and recycled kisses. And that's where relationships begin to rot. Polarity collapses, desire thins, and each repetition loses voltage until you end up as roommates with benefits. Not because she stopped loving you, but because there's no tension, no current left, and you've seen the patterns 1,000 times. The nice guy does everything right, while she fantasizes about, or even worse, she slips toward the man she calls toxic. And not for his resume, not for his wallet, but because he's plugged into his edge and she feels alive in presence of this edge. And she doesn't need to act on it for us to feel the hit. A man knows when her desire drifts. He can feel it. His status drops, confidence cracks, and self-respect get hollowed out. And no amount of niceness or anger or sulking brings that back. It just speeds up the decay. Because when the moment comes, that collision of frustration, forbidden pull, and the right situation, she might choose messy passion over polite predictability. Because when the moment comes, that collision of frustration and forbidden pull and the right situation, brother, there's nothing we can do about it. She might choose the messy passion over polite predictability. So listen, niceness isn't authenticity. It's a neutered version society assigned us. It costs you power, your pleasure, and maybe even everything. Every man has a dark edge, a primal drive, a deeper pulse waiting to be lived. The toxic guy uses that energy unconsciously. And instincts without consciousness make you an animal, which may be creating a short-lived attraction in a woman who lacks that energy in her life. But very few women want to live a long-term life with an animal. That's not the path. Understand, conscious darkness is fire. You can cook a feast on it. Unconscious darkness is fire that burns the house down and her with it. So, why not be the man she actually desires? Darkness isn't the problem. Unconscious darknesses are here's where the difference is immense. If you go in it with anger, resentment, or insecurity, you might create some fire up front, but then you close her off completely. So, how do you unlock that part of yourself without turning into a mess? To explore darkness, we said it, you need light. 1, presence. That's the line between a man and an animal. Instinct, unguided, is chaos in motion. But instinct, unshown in presence, is sensual mastery, pleasure on a divine level. Raw instincts make you an animal. Presence makes you a king. That means step 1 is awareness of yourself. What is actually happening inside you? And I don't refer to the surface smile, but the deeper currents. Consistent presence of what is happening inside your body, the hunger, the fear, the anger, the power, the lust, the love, and the desire. If you can't feel it, you can't lead it. Step number 2 is the awareness of her. She is the opposite pole. Feminine energy is tied to creation itself. It's infinite, intuitive, and it reacts instantly when something in you is off. She doesn't need a spreadsheet. Her body just knows it. So, don't stumble into your darkness like a drunk teenager. Don't bulldoze in, but don't retreat either. Touch into it slowly, steadily, feeling how she receives it, watching how her whole energy mirrors back. Watch how her reflection shifts with you. Some women open slowly, expanding like a ball, drawing back, and others gonna suck it in fast because they have been waiting for this darkness desperately. Done right, she'll often open even faster than you. But only if your dark comes from strength, not from bitterness, if you stay conscious. Because here's the warning again, if you step into your dark side from anger, bitterness, or resentment, you're gonna shut her down, period. So darkness must be explored from a positive state of mind, of soul, and of your heart. Otherwise, you're just a drunk with a scalpel, and no one will trust a drunk surgeon. So, presence makes the cut precise. Presence makes the danger feel safe. And that's the only way you can touch your darkness without burning her or yourself. So explore the inner world of desire. Explore what darkness excites you. Explore it slowly with her, always grounded in light. That's how you turn polarity into power and not poison. And number 3, always remember, attraction is a dance in between 2 poles, and that's where your calibration comes in. Feminine women are not a fixed equation to solve. She's the moon, the tides, the cycles, shadow. So one day she's jazz, and the next day she's gonna be heavy metal. There's only one way to figure out her cycles and moods, and freaking no, it's not logic. I call it your sex sense, the ability to feel inside of her in real time, to play her body and desire better than she can read it herself. Because if you can't read her tides, don't curse the ocean when you're both capsized. And beware, once you start perceiving her, you will possibly meet with a big surprise. The limits of dominance and submission often are not her boundaries, but your boundaries. Because as long as she trusts you, she might be willing to go far beyond anything you imagine possible. And beware, brother, once you start perceiving her, you will possibly meet with a big surprise. But your boundaries. Because as long as she trusts you, she might be willing to go far beyond anything you have imagined possible. So that's the three things to bring the light, to enter the temple of your dark. The man who learned this discovers something wild. Women don't just tolerate the darkness, they suck it up. Their wild side opens up. Sometimes slow, but often fast. It depends how naturally connected you are with it. So here's the law. Suppress your edge, you suppress her desire. You are censoring half of you. It's like locking a lion in a cage and expecting him to purr like a cat. She feels it. She knows you hold him back, and her body will hold back too. She just won't respond with her full spectrum to half of. Now, here's what most teachers skip. They drop words like surrender or dominance, but never teach how to embody it. Why? Because the second you spell it out, society comes with pitchforks, algorithms shut you down, and platforms cancel you. And that's why the real training never makes it to mainstream stage. But that actually doesn't mean you're off the hook. It means responsibility sits squarely on you. You either explore your edge with awareness, or you stay strapped in the nice guy hamster wheel. So one way to get the uncensored truth is to apply for access my private community. The link is below. So let me tell you what happens when men actually accept and live this censored part of themselves. They light up. Women notice. I've seen guys convinced they were too old or past their prime, and others saw themselves just as not attractive, not good with women, or they pushed it on not being a Chad or being rich. They thought feminine, radiant women wouldn't look twice at them anymore. But once they cracked this, suddenly those same women were magnetized. Not because of Botox, a chin line, money, or abs, but because energy doesn't lie. And here's what every one of them realized. Women weren't just reacting to the man in front of them. They were reacting to the energy he'd finally unleashed inside himself. They could feel the edge, the presence, the depths. And once a man carries that, feminine women lean it like flowers into sunlight. And this is where you stop living half a life, basically nurturing yourself. You go stepping out of the infinite friend zone. You stop being flatmate from your own romantic partners, and it's on you, your decision. You can change it, and deep down inside, you know it. So the way out is on you. You open first. You accept that dark isn't a threat, it's a resonance. You create a safe, judgment-free space for her to meet her own edges. That's when the relationship stops being flat and starts being alive again. That's where she stops longing for the release of the successor of 50 Shades and starts craving you. Now, make two decisions. One, do you give this cause some fuel? Let's bring the fun back into being masculine. Subscribe. Because the truth is simple, but sometimes we have to hear it a few times before it really starts to make an impact in your life. And two, stop being the nurtured you. Suppress your edge, suppress your desire. integrate your darkness with your light, and you don't just attract women, you magnetize the kind of feminine woman who lights up your soul. Embrace the full spectrum of your masculinity and create a relationship where desire doesn't just survive, it thrives.